We be fussing, we be screaming, but you the one I wanna lay beside this evening. I'm gonna come back even when I'm leaving. You give good love and I receive it. When you feeling down, I'ma sing to you. That ring on your finger got a ring to it. That's that real love, God-fearing love. It may not be how we dreamed it, but it's still
What's up?
love.
We back.
We ever sit down.
Why you say we back like we left?
We back like we never left.
Never left nowhere.
You know? Glad y'all tuned.
Never been nowhere.
Glad y'all tuned back in to the shenanigans.
Oh no, like having the mic, it just wants you to never.
Makes you want to do something.
Makes me want to stream.
Go ahead.
No,
The floor is yours. Y'all, I'm glad y'all back though.
Back
because-
to talk about
yeah,
the food that has now been attached to cheeks, which they are not synonymous. They are two different words. I love candied yams. I make a dang good candied yam.
You do got some good yams.
Stop.
I mean, make some good yams.
Stop.
I mean, make some good yams.
You're being ridiculous.
You do. You make
I
some.
gotta pastor people.
You do. You do. We human beings. Let's be clear.
I make good candy yams.
You make good candied yams.
for Thanksgiving and Easter.
You do. You do. What else do people call them? Sweet. Like what else is
They're
it
really
called?
sweet potatoes. I mean, I've never in my life. I mean, I've seen a yam, but I've never. A yam is like really. First of all, they're huge, and
What's the real difference between a sweet potato and a yam?
that's
I don't
a
even
David
know.
question because David is a chef. David, what's the difference between a yam and a sweet potato? It can be, yeah. The starchy. One is super. The yam is super starchy.
The yam is?
It's super starchy.
Huh.
One year I did buy yams. I remember I was in Kroger and it had yams and it had sweet potatoes. And I bought the yams because I'm thinking we call them.
How did
candy.
they taste?
They're fine. Nobody knew the difference. I don't think the sweet potatoes don't take as long to cook. Like there's other. The consistency's a little different, but I mean, as far as the blackenized version, it's still butter, brown sugar, nutmeg, cinnamon.
You know what I wonder? So one of my favorite desserts is sweet potato pie.
Huh?
I wonder, could you do a yam pie, and would you be able to taste the difference?
Yeah, I don't think it would be good.
You don't think it'd be good?
Yam pie.
I don't know enough about
It just
the
seems
stuff.
to. Hey Siri, what's the difference between a yam and a sweet potato? Compared to sweet potatoes, yams are less sweet and much more starchy and dry.
Oh, so it probably wouldn't be good then
No,
if they're less sweet.
they are. But I mean, again, when you blackenize them, when you go ahead and put all of the butter and sweet condensed milk and brown sugar and regular sugar and vanilla and
Yeah, I get it.
all of the things. But I
get it.
mean, I use sweet potatoes. It works out.
There we go. So, family,
Back to
we here.
the question at hand.
We here. So it got a little, last time we, was able to.
It didn't get nothing. You're ridiculous.
I'm not ridiculous.
And I have on my Make Marriage Great Again merch.
Go to makemarriageGreatAgain.love and cop you one if you ain't comped one yet.
I mean, it's chilly outside. You need you a good sweatshirt.
Or 3.
So we're talking about, we watched a video. You sent me a video.
Well, I thought it was just intriguing.
You were sending me a subliminal message.
I thought the video was intriguing.
You're so perped out.
It's true.
It was intriguing for a woman to say, we can weaponize our vaginas. And as a woman, you need to make sure that your man is completely satisfied. And you need to, that's how she was talking, and you need to make sure, and it is my pleasure to make sure that he's fulfilled.
It was intriguing that she had that thought process.
It spoke to the masculinity in you, and you loved it, which is why you sent it to me.
I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
My thoughts were, I do not think you should weaponize your poom poom.
The poom poom?
I do not agree with the statement of that's how men are emotionally connected, because if that's the case, that's why there's a problem with either men being faithful or having a lot of partners, because if they running around trying to get this emotional connection with all these women. I do believe that emotions are a part of sex for both men and women.
What about the factual stuff as far as the release of
I don't know. I haven't done no science homework
oxytocin.
on oxytocin. I believe that God did wire y'all when it comes to sex is just different. Y'all, I believe, and this could be true for some women as well, so this is not a statement that's across the board. But I do believe a man can have sex with a woman and not be in love with her and not have any emotional care about her in the world and go home to his wife.
So let me say this. I believe that. I've seen it with my own two eyes.
I think for men, it's with men, it's just so physical. It is a necessary. Now, science has proven that it's a release that needs to take place.
So let me ask you this question. So this is my.
That's probably why they got married at 12 in the Bible. Go ahead.
I don't know.
That's why they was getting married at 13.
I don't know, guys.
Go ahead.
But so here's my thought, though. My thought is that a lot of the times, and we're talking about straight sexually, so we're talking about the climax, if you will.
Yeah.
I feel like that most times men, when they reach that pinnacle, they gotta like hold on for a minute. It ain't very many men that can reach that level and still just continue on. They gotta like regroup. But and so when they're talking about a higher level of the whatever
oxytocin
is released, but women I found like a lot of times that when they reach that their pinnacle,
just getting started, not done yet.
They can they can continue on. And I wonder, is it connected to the levels of oxytocin that are released upon that?
Maybe y'all release so much of it, it wipes y'all out.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like a heroin high. Like when you get high and they just
maybe
the heroin slump.
Maybe. And so maybe it is. Maybe that's why men sometimes, just truth be told, wherever that situation was the greatest at, is probably who they connect to with the women who had the best pum pum.
So they trying to chase like a crack high?
Almost, maybe.
This is too much. This is too
maybe.
much. So now we got men out here chasing oxytocin like a crack pipe.
Niggas will be standing outside of a woman's job
with a boombox,
ready to see what's going on, trying to figure out why.
It's the power of
trying to figure out why not.
That's why every nigga in the hood dressed.
So I mean, I'm just saying. So you don't think that you don't believe what she was saying has any validity?
Again, the video, there was some. I don't care for her. So
anything she says, you're going to reject.
Again, there were some points that I agreed with, and there were some points that I didn't agree with. I believe that sex in a marriage is something that it evolves, it changes. We had dinner. Our friends were talking about how married sex is so much better than single sex. One of our friends was saying,
and I believe that's relative.
Right, because
when I was single, I had some good sex.
Not better than me. You'll get slapped all up in this studio.
I'm saying I did though, and
you did what?
I had some good sex.
Okay,
you didn't before you were married.
Yeah, but it wasn't better than you.
Okay, but they were saying married sex is the best sex. Why is that though?
He was you didn't let me finish before you start talking about your other little past sexcapades. We'll move this table right now.
We will definitely
move these chairs.
Move some furniture around up in here. You know?
What he was saying was it had nothing to do with the
act.
Yes, he said it had more to do with the
connection.
He said because he has never been so emotionally invested in someone other than his wife.
And I believe that. And also too, I think, even when it comes to spiritually, your connection with the Lord, if you love the Lord Jesus,
please don't say
no. I'm not going where you think I'm going. What I'm saying is, if you love the Lord Jesus with all your heart for real, and you slip up and you're having sex outside of marriage.
The union.
There's a level of conviction that's
Aw.
that's associated with it. You know what I'm saying? And you might continue on. You might overcome the conviction, but in the back of your mind, you thinking to yourself like, if you really love the Lord Jesus, you thinking
Only
to
if you
yourself
was raised like that. If you
man,
wasn't raised like that, you don't have no conviction.
Well, nah, I disagree. If you've been taught, not necessarily raised, but if you've come to the realization or you're in agreement with sex is designed for.
That's what I'm saying. You have to be in agreement with the Bible. If not, then you have.
I said for believers who are in love with Jesus.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that also plays a part in why married sex, I think, is a lot better because it's convictionless.
Well, I'll say this: our married sex, it was like ebbs and flows, because we had no kids, then we had little kids, now we got bigger kids. So it's kind of it goes in like these for me it does. I had a phase where it was like I had 2 little boys hanging off me all the time. I didn't want to be touched.
Well, let me ask you this question then. Oh my God. Let me ask you this question. We're talking about the conviction. When we had sex,
I was not convicted.
Before we got married?
Was not.
That right there.
You want to know why?
Why?
This is going to sound crazy, but I had convinced myself that I was going to be your wife, so it didn't matter.
Wow, so it was solely based on what you thinking it was going to be and had nothing to do with your relationship with the Lord Jesus.
No, because I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing it. Like, I knew I wasn't supposed to be fornicating. I knew that.
Right.
But I was like, oh, I mean, it's fornication, but I'm going to marry him.
Yeah, we talked about that whole situation before. But anyways, I think.
You always want to point out, like, I was somehow the bad guy.
No. I'm talking about just the conviction piece.
Yeah, no.
But I'm talking about for the reason why a person said that married sex was so much better.
Yeah, no, he was saying the emotional tie that he has with his wife is greater than he's had with any woman. And he too was saying, I've had some great sex. He was like, but with my wife, he was like, it's just such this bond that her and I have. For me, it's less stress too. Like, you're not under as much stress. And I can't speak for everybody because maybe some people do have stress. I know for years we didn't want to get pregnant again. So that was always
stressful because I wasn't snipped and she wasn't fixed. No. And so, I had to become.
And you was not. No, you was not. You did not become that.
Sometimes I did. Sometimes. I got real good.
And then other times it was like, oh man. We would just roll the dice.
You roll them dice. Yeah.
So I mean, in some instances, it's not stressful. So I just think, I know we were talking about this whole thing about just men and women and sex and marriage. It can make or break, I believe, marriages. I think it's something that has to be talked about. It has to be discussed. It's so many elements, man, of sex.
You know what I thought about though? So. I thought about the transition period that we're.
Is that your cell phone ringing?
Hopefully on the way coming out of. Yeah, let's see what that is. Okay, the transition period that we're hopefully on the way coming out of, where we had to get into the 900 square foot apartment.
Oh man!
And so,
or even if we weren't in the 900 square foot apartment as we're transitioning into our new home, our sons know we have sex now. We've had to have that conversation, and so that is different.
And they said, and they was like, and they found out that we was having sex. We had to have a whole talk with them, and it was like, y'all be having sex in the bed.
Y'all got booty juice in the bed.
Got booty juice in the bed. I'm not getting in the bed no more. But what I was gonna say is being in this small, like the yam cooking, when you're cooking up the yams, it can be,
Please, what are you saying?
Create noise.
All right, I'm done.
And
we're done. I'm done with the podcast today.
And their room is right there.
You got it. And again, like, you got to be quiet. Ain't nothing like vacation sex. Vacation sex is probably some of the best sex you can have when you have kids.
Get the yams on vacation.
If you are married, you don't have no kids yet, then I'm sure you probably have vacation sex all the time because ain't nobody at the crib. But when you have kids and y'all go away, it ain't nothing like it.
The restraints is all the restraints
You
is
can be
off.
as loud as you want. You do whatever you want because you don't have anybody next door or coming and asking you for, saying that their nose was bleeding or knocking on the door because they heard you or. And for me, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
For me as a woman, it is weird because my sons look at me knowing I'm having sex. Like that is a very, and I think you would maybe feel the same way if you had little girls because they would be looking at you.
I got a little girl.
But she hasn't lived with us for her to even, I mean, now that she's grown, she knows we have sex, but it's weird. My little boys is looking at us like, looking at me, Mom. They are just so, they are so disgusted with me.
They're taken aback. They are. They're taken aback.
But I wonder, do they look at you and are they disgusted with you?
I think they're disgusted with both of us. They expressed their disgust with both of us.
They did. They are.
They said they were highly disappointed.
They did.
In the fact that, we were partaking in sex.
Because they want to know, why are we having sex if there's no children?
Yeah, they're trying to put the correlation together. And what they don't understand is that there's a lot of satisfaction.
We haven't had that conversation with them yet. I don't want to.
Well, King understands.
Because I don't want to open Pandora's box.
King understands more than what we realize. He was, when he was fondling himself.
Oh, God bless his heart.
And you was like, King, what are you doing? He said,
I'm just doing this.
Just doing like this,
Because he's so innocent. Bless his heart.
And Ashante was like, well, why are you doing that? He said,
feels good.
Feels good.
And I said, okay, don't do that. He said, okay. Yeah, I just, this whole sex thing I think nobody can tell you what to do in your marriage. If you want to have sex every day and you're up for your spouse's sexual appetite, then bang every day. If y'all have set days of the week, I know some couples who have set days of the
schedule.
week. It's on the calendar. And they say it works because
almost
you're
like
mentally
you think
there.
The body would prepare itself like it knows the time.
I think mentally you can prepare, which means you're working on your distractions all day. You're making sure that your day is not running late. I think you're preparing for it. It's kind of like going to the gym without your headphones. You're like, oh, man.
Or like when you're on a diet and you eat at certain times of the day.
After
a while, your body starts letting you know when it's time.
Yes, you're hungry. You're like, I'm supposed to eat at 6:00.
And do you feel like maybe even putting sex on the calendar, your body would begin to, know when it's time?
No, I think for me, I don't think so. I think for men, you can eat every day. it's every day. I don't know any men that be like, nah, you know what? I'm good with once a week, once every 2 weeks.
There's been plenty of times when I've just been like,
It depends where you mentally are.
Yeah.
It depends where you mentally. If you have a lot on your plate mentally, you'd be like, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Because y'all's two heads got to communicate.
Yeah,
and if you're not in a good headspace, then
you're
not in a good headspace.
Yeah.
For me too, though, it's the same for me. Like I'm emotionally have to be charged. It can't just be pulling into a gas station for full service.
I never heard that one.
Just made it up.
I've heard get the garage door open. You know what I'm saying?
I just want you to know that somebody's gonna be talking to your daughter like that,
babe. If it's her husband,
your daughter's
of
listen,
12 years,
it doesn't matter.
That she's built a life.
It doesn't matter.
You know what I mean? They have their little fun
When that
time.
man look at her and tell her to get the garage door open, it's gonna make you feel some type of way.
Does it make your dad feel some type of way? Because I talk like that in front of your dad.
No, my dad is a different breed. I never forget we went out of town, and I'll talk to my dad when we got back. My dad was like, "It ain't nothing like out of town sex, huh?" I was like, "This."
Yeah.
That's me and my dad's relationship, though. Like my dad is different. Me and my dad were talking the other day because they're gonna be living with us, and I was like, "Dad, can I ask you a question?" It's like it's kind of a concern. He's like, "Sure." I was like, "I don't really know how to approach this conversation. Like you downstairs with your wife in the in-law suite, me upstairs." Our master bedroom was right over the in-law suite. I was like, so this whole sex thing, like, how are we going to, he was like, Shantae, he said, that's your house. He's like, now, if you want to be as loud as you want to be so King and Zion can hear you, He was like, that's up to you. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't do that because I still have kids in the house. I was like, well, as long as you and Miss Linda can put away the whips and the chains.
Yeah, because
We both were able to laugh, but it was a real conversation that we had to have because it's two sets of married adults in the house.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's navigate this because there's also children in the house, and I'm not trying to hear you, and I know you're not trying to hear me, but we both know it's happening. And I think it's like all within, you know.
Within what? Within
reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, man, I think honestly just, you know, I think that young lady shares some things that is worth considering. I don't know that, you know, I think there needs to be some compromise, but there also needs to be some submission on both ends. Wives, submit yourselves to your husbands, and also the scripture says we should be submitting one to another.
I've heard that
there's submission on both ends.
there is, and then you had me listen to somebody's wife, some bishop's wife, and she said that she had sex with her husband every day. Was that Fred Price's wife that said that?
I don't know if she said every day, but she said basically a lot of the times that it was Fred Price's wife, but she said a lot of the times that she had to have sex by faith.
Let me ask you this question.
And because she didn't really want to.
Right. And so for you, I don't think that you want that. You want me to want you. Imagine me saying like, hey, we're just having sex by faith. It would almost turn you off because you're like, I want you to want me.
Well, I think honestly,
but I'm like, but in some instances, I don't want to have sex, but I'm doing it because you're my husband.
I think it goes both ways.
Okay.
And I think the by faith piece, I don't think either one of us will really have the license to be communicating that type of negativity in the midst. I think honestly the by faith piece means that you have to get yourself up for it.
So you're not even saying to them it's by faith.
Yeah, I don't think that's
you're
good.
mentally just move. Preparing.
Yeah.
But man, you know, like I
don't think that's a good move. I don't think a good move is to be like, look, I don't feel like doing this right now.
So you don't think it's
this is straight up
you
by
don't
faith.
think it's fair to be honest with your spouse? Like, I'm not really in the mood, but
I think it's always fair to be honest, but I think you got to know when to disclose the honesty.
You know how
so I think
much
it's after
maturity
the fact
it takes to not want to do something, have to do it with a smile, and basically pretend.
People go to work every day.
See, so now you're comparing sex to a job.
I'm just saying the act of getting over it, not wanting to, and still.
Do men do that? Do men have to pretend that they want to have sex?
Sometimes, yes.
Man, no, y'all don't.
Well, what you do is I think you think because the penis gets hard physiologically that the mind always wants to. The penis is going to get hard. The penis going to go ahead and penis. It's going to do what it do. When I wake up in the morning and use the bathroom, I ain't thinking about no sex. Penis hard as I don't know what. I ain't thinking about having sex. But it's hard. I mean, and guess what it would do? Guess what it would do?
No, because once you use the restroom, it's over.
No, not all the way is true. And sometimes when I get sleepy.
No, it's all the time.
I'm not trying to have sex. I'm sleepy, but somehow or another, my penis is connected to being sleepy. And so I'm sleepy, hard, you know. But what I'm saying is my point I'm making is that if you decided to come and jump my bones at that moment,
bro, you would be game.
But that ain't mean I want to.
Bro, it has to mean, okay, all right.
Just saying.
So you mean to tell me that a man could tell his wife, like, I didn't want to have sex with her, like if my penis was just hard, but I didn't want to.
Not cheating and adultery. Absolutely not. That's a decision. That's not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm talking about you got a wife and she, wants
a decision.
Wants to get active, and you really don't want to get active for real, but you just go on ahead. It happens. Yes.
You don't want to get active.
Yes.
But your penis wants to get active. So the way that you talk about me and my vagina, we are one, but you refer to, so you're basically telling me you and your penis are two different people.
What I'm saying is this. This is what I'm saying. And I got to be explicit like this because this is the only way that it makes sense. What I'm saying is that there's been times when you didn't really want to have sex, but once we get active and get to touching and petting, you know, the
that's
vagina
different.
going vagina.
Well, no, it's mentally, because here's the thing. Mentally, if I'm not there, I can go sleep.
I mean, not
And
in
then
the not in the
once
midst.
you physically begin to get aroused, yes, arousal, oxytocin.
So I
there's
think
other things that start to.
There's a difference between arousal and wanting to. Like going into it, no, wasn't really into it, didn't really want to. But
so
then after
are you saying
a while,
arousal? So arousal and wanting to are two different things. So you can want to and not be aroused, or
yeah, there's plenty of men. Guess what it's called?
What?
Erectile dysfunction.
I said you can want to. No, you can be aroused and not want to.
Yeah, after
Or
after
you
it
or
gets
you can
started,
not want to and be aroused.
I think once it like you can not really feel like it, but after it gets started, you know, like the organ, the appendage is what you call it, is going to do what it does. It is. It's going to do what it does. And I believe the vagina is going to. I'm sorry, y'all. Is going to secrete if it's.
There's communication. There's a lot of communication that's happening from the brain.
Maybe.
To the,
and I've never studied
and so for
this.
for you to say that men can basically, there's no arousal mentally at all, and that your penis can just be like, hey, there she is.
I think in the midst of it.
No, I'm not talking about the midst. I'm talking about your wife is coming out of the bathroom, brushing her teeth, and she walks by with that nightgown on, and your penis is like, hey.
And you don't feel like it, and then she comes over and starts doing whatever it's doing, and you really didn't want to, and it ends up happening. Yeah, it happens.
There's been times I've been brushing my teeth, and here you come.
Yeah, and there's been times when you do what you do. And I wasn't necessarily, that wasn't on the radar.
I can get it whenever I want.
Vice versa.
Like, no, I'm just saying, like, you always want to, bro.
No, it's not true, man. I do a good job of not letting you know I didn't.
Oh.
And I think you do too. And I think there's wisdom in that. I don't think it's wise to go into like, man, I really ain't feeling like doing this here and open on it. Like, don't nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, I don't want to deal with your spouse like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't deal with your spouse like that.
Please
you know what I'm saying?
Be over.
You care,
please let it be over.
You care enough about them,
God.
you know what I'm saying, to not
please.
deal with them in that way.
Okay, we're done.
I'm serious.
We're done. We're done. Did you just?
Yeah, I don't even want to, huh?
Okay.
You
All
know,
right.
yeah,
Y'all.
this ain't nothing but by
please,
faith, huh?
Please.
Like, you don't do that to people.
Oh, my God.
You don't hurt. That hurts
Please.
people's feelings. You don't do that to
Please.
people.
Whatever.
To your wife
listen,
or your
listen to
husband.
me. Go subscribe right now.
Go do it.
Because this guy
No, I'm serious, y'all.
has
serious.
wiped me all the way out.
I'm serious.
This is season
serious.
3, and we are talking about getting to the yams.
Can I get to the yams? Sweet yams.
Y'all need to go subscribe on YouTube. Go to MakeMarriageGreatAgain.love. Order your merch.
Yes.
Go ahead and sign up for the email. We got some stuff coming y'all's way. We want to keep
Yes.
y'all in connection of all the good things coming your way.
Yeah.
It's about to go down.
Yeah, just help us, man, become 2 of the leading voices for marriage in America. Putting it out there.
In the world, Craig.
In the world.
In the world.
Like, help us become that, because I feel like,
help you.
we can do that.
So, yeah, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is, you're crazy, bro.
We holla at y'all.
What have I gotten myself into? Bye.